What's up, guys? Hey, today I want to talk to you about how to make a logo for your podcast. Alright, so the app we're going to use today is called Affinity Designer. It's available on Windows and Mac. So if you don't have that, it's about $50, which may seem like a lot, but compared to what the cost of having Photoshop would be, which you have to pay a monthly subscription for, Affinity Designer is a one-time purchase. So it's really not that big of a price, and you can use it for Mac and Windows. And I think at the time of making this video, it's on sale in the Microsoft Store for about 20% off, I think. So go ahead and snag that, and we'll continue with the video.
Alright, now that you've downloaded Affinity Designer and got it installed and started up, you'll probably see this box when you open it. We're just going to click New Document, and from there there's a couple things we want to do. I always make sure the transparent background box is checked. That way, for whatever I'm making, I can always have the freedom to create my own background or take one out if I decide I want to do something else with it and not have a background in there. And then the next thing we're going to do, this is the most important for creating your podcast logo, is we're going to change the dimensions. So for the page width right here, we want to set that to 2000. And then we're going to do the same with the page height. So we're creating a box that's 2000 by 2000, and everything else is fine. We don't need to mess with that, so we'll click OK. Then here in a second our box will pop up. So from there, since right now we don't have anything, the first thing I want to do is come over to the rectangle tool, click that, and I'm just going to drag out a box that goes covers the full space of the square. And then from there, while that's still selected, I'm going to go up to this fill section right here in the top left and click that, and a color wheel is going to appear. And you can make it whatever color you want. If you want it all white, you just drag down there or drag up for all black. But if you want to make it a certain color, you can move this dot inside the triangle. That'll give you any shade of red, white, black combination for the color that's selected with this dot over here on the outside. But if you pull that one all the way to the right and then move the outside one around the wheel itself, you can change whatever base color to start with, and then change within the triangle from there. So for this demonstration, I'm just going to go with a blue. We'll just go with that for right now. And then I'm going to click my arrow over here, deselect that, so that's good. And then at this point, if you have a logo already created for your brand that you want to bring in, the best way to do that on Affinity Designer that I've found so far is to go up and click File and then Place. And from there, that'll open up your window where you can locate that file and choose to open it, and then it will load in here. But if you don't have one, what you can do is, let's say I didn't have a logo for my podcast yet, and I just wanted to use the first letter of my first name and the first letter of my last name. What I can do is click the text tool down here, the capital letter A, and then Affinity. If you have this little magnet selected here, that's for snapping. It'll snap to the middle, and whenever you're in the middle, you'll see this green line and then a red line when you're in the middle, going the other direction. So if both are showing, you're in the exact middle of the square. So I'm going to click there, and then before I start typing anything, I'm going to go up to my tools up here for my text. I want to center it. Then I'm going to choose a bigger font. I'm just going to go with 288 for now. You can make bigger size font than that. You just have to type it in once you go past 288. So I'm going to stick with that for now, and then I'll leave it on Arial, but I'm going to go with Arial Bold, and then I'm just going to type my initial CV. So from there, you can select that, and that is nowhere near as big as I want it to be. So I'm going to click the size of my font up here and change that. I'm gonna try 400 and see what that looks like. That's not big enough either. Let's go with 800. All right, so that's good for now. That'll work. Then I'm gonna center it. Even though the text is centered earlier, if you make something bigger, it's always good to make sure it's recentered. And then, so with my text selected there, I'm gonna go over to the color wheel on this side, and this is for the color of the text itself. So for right now, I'm just gonna grab that inside dot and drag it all the way down to the white. And that's gonna be good for this one. I do wanna give my text a little bit of a drop shadow. So you wanna make sure whatever layer you wanna add an effect to is selected. So right now I have the layer selected with my initials on it, the CB. And then I'm just gonna go right down here to this little box that says layer effects. And I'm gonna click that, move it out of the way so I can see what I'm doing. Then I'm gonna do outer shadow. So I'm gonna click that, make sure the box is checked. And you can mess with the radius and see how much or how little you want it to be. I'm gonna leave mine, let's see, I'll just type in 10. Okay, hit enter, hit close, and there we go. So now I've got my 2000 by 2000 image for my podcast, and that's gonna work well on SoundCloud where you load that, and then also once you upload your RSS feed to Apple Podcasts, that size logo will work for Apple Podcasts also.
Well, hey, thank you for checking out today's video. We hope this is helpful to you as you create content and media for your podcast. Now you have a logo you can use that's going to make your podcast look more professional. You can send it out with marketing and advertising and all that good stuff to let people know about the content you're making. Thank you for checking out the video. If this was helpful today, would you leave a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for more content coming soon? Thanks.